So guys, I do want to talk about Mercedes Mone and what happened at Forbidden Door. And there's a couple things I want to say this. I'm on vacation to Puerto Rico, so, very awesome. I just went to Senor Paletia and got some good ice cream, So what I want to say is that there are some people who are not understanding why Mercedes Mone got booed. And there's a few things because I was in the audience. So what happened was that there was a bunch of anti-Boston chants. Like, there are some people saying, and I quote, fuck the Red Sox. And then there are also some chants like saying fuck the Celtics. And I also think that there was a huge Hispanic crowd. So they're all cheering for Stephanie Vakir. And I think what everybody felt during this match was that obviously Mercedes Mone is going to win, because obviously, she's pushed by AEW. And this is kind of why, some people are going to say that obviously one problem with AEW, it's very, very predictable. If Shingo Takagi was doing a really excellent job and people were cheering for him, and there was a huge, Chinatown or Japantown fan base for him, he's still going to lose. Tony Khan's not going to call an audible, really. And then the other thing, too, is that what would happen if Stephanie Vakir is just doing this, and then she's going to wrestle in Mexico or other places, or she's going to wrestle in Japan. She has no time to wrestle in AEW. You run into a situation where it's like, well, people are applauding you and people want this to happen, and it should happen because it subverts expectations, but ultimately you can't do it because somebody's under contract and it doesn't fit into their scheduling. So it's definitely a lose-lose. But I also would say that here comes another issue, is that subverting expectations. And to me, subverting expectations mean someone's going to go one way, or a way that's predictable, and then the opposite happens. We all know Stephanie Vakir was going to lose to Mercedes Mone. And it's because of two things. Because obviously she is one of Tony Khan's favorites. Also, too, that she lost in Japan an opportunity to hold a Japanese title. So this is just, a bit of her living her fantasy of being a Japanese champion. And then, obviously, she's Tony Khan's favorite toy. So a lot for those reasons, that's exactly why, Mercedes Mone is going to win. And then also, too, you run into the TNA wrestling situation. Why would you honestly have a person from another company hold a title? Because you look at the X Division title, and it was held by somebody from another company, and a bunch of people are saying that was a stupid decision. And the other thing that I would say is that actually Kyle Fletcher lost the title to a Mexican luchador with no build or whatever, really. So at least with Stephanie Vakir, the issue was that she was very, very popular. She got over with the audience, really. So I think there was enough to kind of say that was the right time when you want to switch a title. You don't give your ROH television championship, the title Kyle Fletcher was holding, to a luchador out of the blue, out of nowhere. That was really, really stupid. So I definitely would say that next time, they should think about switching titles, or they should have things with the referee that says, okay, here's an audible. Now, Tony Khan wants this to happen because you see the crowd reaction. And then the other thing that I will say is that I do think for Forbidden Door, for AEW, it would actually help them to have champions for other companies hold some titles, maybe one or two titles at maximum. And the reason why you do that is because there's too many titles in AEW. So that way, you have a title in another company and people forget about it. Or you unify it with other titles in other companies, and that's a way to get rid of some titles. And it adds to realism, because obviously there are times when somebody from another company is going to win a title if it's offered. They can't lose every single time, really. But I definitely think there's a lot of lessons to learn about this. I really think the biggest lesson is if Stephanie Vakir is getting that type of reaction, invite her to AEW Grand Slam, your next New York City show. Give her some matches on AEW and see what type of reaction she gets. If she gets a big reaction, put her at Wembley Stadium. Put her at Death Before Dishonor. Make her have a grudge match with Mercedes Mone during Blood and Guts. Definitely capitalize off of this. because it's definitely telling you that there's something with her, and you can just say, okay, we'll just forget about her, or you can actually give her a try and see what she's made of, and that's what you're supposed to do when you get a crowd reaction. So I definitely hope this leads to a good push for Stephanie Vakir and a little bit of an understanding of why Mercedes Moné wasn't really over. Just to reiterate, there was an anti-Boston chant. People knew that she was going to lose. I think a lot of people felt that Stephanie Vakir was doing a lot of work in the match. Mercedes Moné was just getting out of stuff. And then also, everybody kind of knew Mercedes Moné was going to win and get 2 titles. She felt very, privileged and all that. So people don't like those privileged wrestlers. So those are the reasons why she didn't get that, why she got booed.